And after the installation, this menu arrives. So the first option we have is to configure our network cards. We can configure all the network card after the installation, but if you're going to make your first installation and you're absolutely beginning with FreeBSD, you want to have this configured directly now. So then you take yes. You will get a list of your network cards here. In this case I have one card that is the EM0. This name is changing depending on what type of network card chip you have. So when you take OK on this one, it will ask if you want to configure it with the IPv6, the next standard of IP addresses. You don't need it right now unless you have special needs for it. So I use IPv4, so I take no in this option right now. DHCP servers are the ones that brings you a network address automatically in your network, like plug in the cable and you're ready to run, because all the configuration of the network is being done automatically by your default router if it has a DHCP server. So if you have a normal home network where you plug in your cable and you run, you can just select yes in this option. I'm going to take to do like this. I will take no, because I would like to put everything from beginning. Host is the host name. So let's call this VMware, for example. So host is the name of the machine. The network domain is if you want to have your own domain in your network. Like if you put, let's say we put FreeBSD.local. You see that it was changing, so our VMware was getting the name VMware.freebsd.local. This is like having, to put it in citat, to have your own DNS setup, but it's not like a DNS server, it's just that you have a name that is VMware.freebsd.local. That's fine, you can leave that host name as you want there. So the IPv4 gateway is the default router in your network. So in my case, my router has this address. So this is the first router that you're going to meet in your network before your connection goes out on the internet. Name servers are the DNS servers. In this case, my DNS server has an external address. I don't have any internal name servers. They are made to give a simple network knowledge. DNS servers they translate IP addresses to host to like internet addresses like www.google.sc or, for example, to IP addresses. In this case, I don't want anything of this right now because this is just a simple network setup. So I select my IP address here for the machine there. Oh, sorry, I was forgetting a point there. So this is the address for the machine. But okay, if you want to make your manual options, take OK there. But I'm going to take cancel because I would like to have the, I presume that you were taking the, for example, the DHCP option there. So I just cancel it because I'm going to take the network later anyway. So for example, I don't want this machine to function as a gateway. A gateway is that it's if I'm going to make a translation between one network card to another, which means that to pass traffic from one network card to another. This is a typical method that you need to have if you're going to make a FreeBSD machine to make it to a router to route your one internet connection to all machines in your home. I've been using this setup for my router because I don't use any commercial router. I use a computer that shares my internet connection, and that computer runs FreeBSD 8.1. So you take no here if it's a normal desktop machine and you're not going to pass net traffic between two network cards. So if you're going to make like a gateway, you should check out the notd function. You can read about it in the pages of the manual of FreeBSD. Just select no there. Enetd is it's a service like if you want to run an FTP server, for example, but you don't want the FTP server to be online all the time, you can use the enetd to configure it to when someone connects to the FTP, enetd is listening, and when someone has asked for FTP, it starts the FTP server, and while the user transfer, it's on, but then later when the user has gone offline, it puts it down to save. This is a function like we're using to save a lot of performance on the system. Well, it's also reducing performance if it becomes like it functions on like 1000 clients, shouldn't be any problems, but if it becomes huge servers, you don't want to have this feature there. But it's flexible, it's more than that, it's read about it, you can do cool things with it. I've been routing my PHP project through this enet daemon, and it's to bring communication between programs and my PHP website. It can be security issues, but I made it just because it was funny and cool. So okay, no here. SSH login was the secure shell. If you want to have it enabled, select yes. In this case, I'm going to take no, because I'm going to have this machine later for a tutorial to show how to enable SSH manually. You should check out the SSH connection tutorial. So if you want to connect remotely to your machine, this one should be selected yes. We can enable it later also. I have a tutorial showing how to use the SSH connection from a Windows machine. We take no here. Well, you can take yes. I'm going to take no to show how to install it later. So if you want to have anonymous FTP access to this machine, well, I don't want it, so I take no here. It means that people can connect to it even if they don't have any account assigned. I take no. The question about the NFS server. The NFS server, it becomes a bit too much to speak about here right now. The NFS server is a network file system. It's you can bring file systems, like you can have one server that brings space to store at and to read from, to have like hard disk over internet for machines on your network, Unix and Linux and Solaris machines. We're going to cover this later also in an elaboration tutorial, so take no here. And no, we don't want the client either. The clients are for connecting. Console settings, I skip this one. Time zone, yeah, it can be good. Continue with the no option here. So in this case, I took Europe, I take my part of the country, and I search for my place. So this option, you just it's very straightforward. So now we continue with if you want to have mouse enabled, you can check it out. I can show here how it functions. It's very simple to activate. I will in a tutorial I will show how to activate it after installation also, but we take it here to show how it functions. Yes to the mouse, and we need to enable the mouse daemon to start it. So try enable and move your cursor, and you can see the mouse has been enabled. This is a matter of taste if you want to have it or not. So yes, it was moving, and then you just take exit. FreeBSD package collection. I don't want to browse them, so no. If I want to set initial user account, I can take that later. If I take it now, it brings up the add users shell script that uses the pv command. So I will not add my users yet, but you can check out the tutorial of how to add users that is on my channel also. Here we enter the password for the root. I enter a password. You can put blank if you want, if it's an elaboration machine, but I put the simple password here. Then you have to retype the password, like in any other system. So visit the general configuration menu for one last chance. Take no if you want to continue, but I'm going to make it a little bit more confusing for you, and I'm going to go back to the configuration menu here to show around a bit. So if I would like to change something here, I just search for what I would like to change. Networking, you remember that I was making a weird option there? I didn't take DHCP. Let's take it now. I go back here and then I select interfaces. That's what I want to configure. Press enter. And now you recognize we're back from this menu again. Then I select OK to this network card. IPv6, no, as I said before, but this time we take yes. One thing I need to tell you is that dynamic IP addresses, you don't use them normally for static servers, because then you assign a firm IP address. We cover more about that later. But for my desktop use, I take yes here. It scans for the server. And my FreeBSD server was giving me an address here. As you can see, my domain is pureevil.local. And my name of the machine was VMware, so it was getting vmware.freebsd.local, which was an old one. I can do like this, erase this one and press tab, and it was updating the domain there. Okay, just press OK, and we have a dynamic host configured machine. So this was, we were going back to the menu, so now you know how that functions. So just walk around here, search what you would like to change, then exit if you want to exit the menu, and exit installer, and then yeah, we want to exit and reboot, and then OK to remove the media. So we put our last minutes in the movie to show you the rebooting, to see if we were succeeding or not. By the way, this menu we speak about a little bit later. Here you can select an option, single user mode, which is the like a minimal boot if you need to make a recovery after some crashes or something like that. But it's a big part itself to speak about, so we cover it later. So it loads. And while it loads, I can bring you more information to make you tired. All the things loaded here at start can be found in var run dmesc.boot. We will cover it also later, because it's something you need to know if you're going to post help in forums. They will ask for this. So root and my password. Okay, we succeeded with our installation. So that was the very long explanation of the installation. And to put any summary here, I believe that the most important things that we've been taking is how to partition, what is slices and what are partitions, and also what is the configuration that you can go back to. And before I quit here, I'm going to teach you something. Sysinstall is a menu where you can make configurations inside of FreeBSD. We cover this in details more later, but here we can make configuration by entering configuration, and we are back here as you remembered from the installation where we were. Here you can make options, so the network, for example. Okay, I go back and leave this menu. Okay, so that was everything from the detailed installation. Check out for more tutorials later, and we will bring elaboration in future.